Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'm with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Why don't you text the show on 8 12 15 or follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
You've been reading a lot of children's stories recently.
I've been reading a lot of Dr. Seuss this week, so I find it. If I'm talking to someone and it's not rhyming, I feel strangely unnerved.
I don't really like Dr. Seuss. All the food combos make me feel a bit sick.
What, you don't like green eggs and ham?
Oh,
I do.
Bear it.
There's a character called Green Eggs and Ham called Sam I Am.
Yeah.
Correct.
Now, does that mean that Will I Am is named on that? I never got that.
Yeah, it's his brother. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
They're both like a jaunty hat.
Are they one of the Illinois I Ams?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Now, is he named after Sam I Am?
I don't think so.
How's the cockerel going to know?
Well, he sounded very knowledgeable about...
He's a Scottish man, Yorkshire-based, Manchester-based.
Yes. But, you know, I think of him as... You're right, you went to drama at school. Yep. I bet you played the Cat in the Hat, didn't you?
No, I don't think we did that. I just know it from, reading it.
Okay.
That's how I've done much of my learning.
What parts did you mainly play at drama school, if it's not a rude question?
I think they tried to shuffle me off as if to go, oh, well, we think you might be a stand-up anyway. So,
no. Oh, really?
Yeah,
didn't you tell me you played Dr. Fu Manchu in the Oriental crime thriller drama school? I thought you said you still got the moustache.
Yeah.
I think I told you that off air, didn't I?
Oh, sorry, was I supposed to...
And that's me that's still got the moustache?
Oh, well, yours is not long and droopy. I mean, full respect to you, it's still bristling like a good... It is, can I say it is, and if you're listening in horror, it is. And if you hear anything rubbing against the microphone, that'll be my unshaven face. That's how close I like to get to the readers.
Exactly. I wouldn't have been able to get myself a boyfriend starring in an award-winning HBO drama if I had a moustache.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if you ever saw Carnivale, which I believe was HBO, but there was a bearded woman in that who I thought was quite hot. But she would be under all that lot. No, and I once met a photographer, a woman with a goatee, which I thought looked quite... I think it could be...
I like the idea of a photographer woman. Excellent.
Photographer woman, because obviously when I said photographer, everyone at home would have thought, oh, I wonder what he was like. And I was making a point about their stereotypes.
There's no comedian word for photographer, is there? Like photographer...
Photographess.
Yeah, exactly.
No, a photographess is... I don't know what that is.
It's a confessional photographer.
I think it's a pictorial representation of an Eastern hat.
Well, I've had this news just in.
Oh, well...
Alan, you played a blinder last night, bruv.
Oh, thanks very much.
That's from Will Bowie, who was obviously at your gig.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Nice.
Still waiting for your praise to come in, Frank.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get much for last night.
Oh, no.
I don't know, as you know. It's all right. But you don't want that in, do you? Saw you last night, Frank. All right.
Oh.
You don't want that. No. I don't want that. I want a bit more than that. That's the trouble. You always want a bit more, don't you? You agree?
Yeah, definitely.
I did a TV show last... Well, I'll tell you in a minute.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, yeah, I did Edinburgh Night with Sue Perkins last night.
Well, I know, because I was in the audience.
Oh, of course you were. I forgot that, yeah.
I was going to see Old Jewish Jokes.
Yeah.
And Cass said...
I wish you wouldn't call Dave.
Well, Cass said come and see Frank instead. So I went to see Old Birmingham Jokes.
Yeah. It was... I don't know. It was. I really...
Sue Perkins.
I love Sue
J'adore.
Perkins. Yes. It was. There was quite a bit of dancing on it.
Oh yeah.
Because Pamela Stephenson Connolly was on, so we discussed. I felt I came out as a bit of an old grump on the dancing front. Well,
Can I say I thought you came out with dignity?
Oh, thanks. I hate dancing.
All right, that does sound grumpy, yeah.
I think most bright people do. And maybe I should have held that back. I don't know.
Did you lead with
Am I
that?
allowed to say what you said?
Yeah, well, it's on the telly.
Okay. They kept it in?
Well, maybe they didn't.
At one point, Pamela Stevenson Connolly... Is it Connolly Stevenson or Stevenson Connolly? Anyway, let's call the whole thing...
Let's call her Pemmy.
Yeah. She said to Frank, would you care to dance? And Frank went... Frank sat there, sort of had his hands in his lap, barely looked at her and said, I'd rather eat glass.
Well, I think actually I said glass.
Yeah, you said glass.
Yeah, well, I don't... No, I just can't. And also, I'd made my one interesting point about dance, and then they said, oh, sorry, we got a sound problem, can we do that bit again? And of course I would never repeat a joke in front of the same
So was
audience.
your one interesting point that no clever people want to do it?
No, I think everybody knows that. It's that one, I think you probably know, that the way to do the lambada is you have to imagine that you have a pencil in your bottom,
All right.
and with the point outwards,
Uh-huh.
and that you're drawing a figure 8.
Oh, yeah.
You demonstrated it.
I did, and it does. When you demonstrate it, when you think about it, you just have to lambada. You can't stop yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying I do autographs like that sometimes for novelty. You can't be totally sure what's, it's
They had
right in the dark.
They had a zombie on the show as part of it. There was a bit of a skit,
Yeah.
and they had a man dressed as a zombie, and they cut to him, and he had all blood coming out of his mouth. He was sitting in the audience. It's a good little trick, but the problem is he then had to stay sitting in the audience with us. Well, I did, because he got quite into it, and he forgot that he was a zombie, and he crossed his legs and started checking his phone.
Oh,
And
He checked his phone.
He checked his phone, and he had
so
blood
much
dripping
wrong
down.
with that. Not only is the living dead, but there was a show going on.
yeah. To be honest, the living dead get a signal in Edinburgh and I can't. That doesn't seem fair.
No.
How's
What
he
about-
got a signal?
Frank, what about Ladysmith Black Man Bars, though?
Yeah, they were.
They came
Which
on.
one were they? They were the ones at the end. Yeah, They were telling me.
Which
that,
one were they? They were the 12-piece choir from South Africa. You
Yes,
couldn't miss them.
That apparently, someone was telling me, I was talking to one of their people, that there's 4 of them are like cousins and 4 are brothers, and they're all related more or less to the same. It's like Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Oh, yeah, they're related, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all families. I think it's probably the only way in which Ladysmith Black Mombasa is like Mrs. Brown's Boy. But yeah, I can't think of another off the top of my head, but that's this morning's texting. In what other ways are Ladysmith Black Mombasa like Mrs. Brown's Boys, other than they are all related? But yeah, I like the idea of a family band.
They like a
Dear.
shift tunic.
Oh, the bickering, though. There must be bickering.
Well, you get in any band, you get that. It's not like you don't get it in a band if they're not related.
No,
You think
but
it'd be like it'd be like Oasis
Yeah.
en masse. You think?
There's 4 brothers in Ladysmith Black Mombasa, and there's only 2 in Oasis, and that was unsustainable long term, wasn't it?
I know,
So
but some brothers get on a treat.
some brothers, yeah.
The thing with the dancing thing, this thing is they say true freedom is to dance. You dance like there's no one watching. That's what you're
Yeah.
supposed to.
Oh, is that
ideally
right? Oh, yeah,
aim
yeah.
at, yeah, obviously.
Mhm.
For a Catholic, you can't. For me, there's always someone watching.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
Frank, what about this girl who was washing my hair this week? And she said to me, oh, I love Frank Skinner. I loved it when he did Room 101. I wish he did it. What do I say to that?
That's a bit odd.
Yeah. No, I think
I haven't got over the fact she was washing your hair. Do you mean was she in a salon?
Yeah, in a salon.
Okay.
No, I think her emphasis
Not on the
was...
boss.
I loved it when Frank Skinner did it.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Perhaps she's heard something. Perhaps she works at the BBC and she's seen a memo.
Washing hair there.
Who's doing it now? Ladysmith Black Mambazo doing it collectively.
I hate it when people wash your hair when you're on the boss and people behind you. You suddenly realise they're washing your hair. It's one of my pet hates.
We had a text in as
They
well.
never properly rinse.
No.
That's the trouble. We're pranksters. Go on.
We had a text in. Morning, Frank, Emily and Alan. There's nothing more irritating than someone trying to get you to dance by insisting you want to, really, My hatred of dancing isn't just a clever ruse so I can then surprise people at a later date with my incredible dance skills, I assure you.
Oh, who's that from?
That's from 218, of course.
Okay. 218 sounds slightly furious. Do we think 218 is a lady? Because men don't get asked that often to dance.
You did last night.
I did, yeah, but I think that sent out a message.
The thing is
Hopefully.
that you can't really do that thing of dance like nobody's watching if you're doing it on telly, can you? It seems like you're assuming it's going to get terrible ratings.
But it goes against the comedian thing, doesn't it? To do something like there's no one watching when you're just desperate for
So
someone.
if you're a borderline national treasure, there's always someone watching.
Of course there is. Another thing I mentioned on this show, which I think no one believed me on that thing, was I've been trying to find a children's show that's suitable for a 2-year-old.
Yes.
So I'm up with Boz, my son who's 2, and I looked in, and they nearly all start at 3, 4. You know, that's the age
really?
range.
Okay.
Except for one called it's called Doc, Death and the Tulip, and it says age range 2 to 7.
Oh.
And it says, it begins the description, a doc strikes up an unlikely friendship with death.
Ingmar Bergman film.
Death with a capital D. That's a personification of death. This is starting at 2.
Yeah.
And up. So I haven't taken him.
Yeah. I might hold off on that one.
I'm not. I think it must be tempting if you're putting your age range in to sort of. You don't want to tell people not to come. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you. I use an IQ range on my listings.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think people are completely ignoring it.
Based on the evidence of the.
I'll tell you what, I am getting a lot of children in.
No.
To your shows?
Yeah,
You
I mean,
are.
a lot. I've had. Well, the other night there
What
was.
age are we talking?
Well, my record, if you could call it that.
Careful.
Yeah.
My record. The other night there was a couple in, and they had a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old.
With them?
Yes.
At your show?
Yes.
Which, just for the avoidance of doubt, contains quite adult
humour.
content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
7 and 3.
yes.
Wow.
I think they have to pay for a ticket as well. So they have to pay for a ticket for him. And I thought about it. I think what it's about is that the ticket is cheaper than childcare.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Because my manager went over and said, "Excuse me, but I don't think this would be appropriate for the."
And let's face it, that's unlike him.
Yeah, and well, they paid. And the woman said, she said, "Oh well, they'll be asleep soon. Don't worry about it." Which is not the kind of review I dreamt of. I must say.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We were talking about people bringing children along to your show.
Talking about the lovely Tina song.
We were, yeah.
Yeah, we were.
And
And you disapproved.
I do. I strongly disapprove.
I
I think they should be in bed at that hour. But we've had a text from 218 again, actually. My dad took my sister and I to see Craig Charles live when we were 7 and 5.
Wow.
Can I just say, I love that, Dad.
The show was completely inappropriate.
I bet it was.
See, mine's only partial. Mine's inappropriate, I'd say, for about, 60%?
Yeah.
Can that be the title of your next show?
I
Inappropriate
think
for
I'm going
about
to have something
60%.
really offensive as the title of my next show to stop people bringing
It
children.
won't work. It won't work.
Okay. Anyway, it's against medical advice. That's what I'm going to do after my foot.
Oh, that's a good
my
one.
foot thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nugget has texted us.
Ah.
Frank, one of our regulars.
Hi, Nugget.
Good morning, Frank. If I may ask, having bought a house with a garden, do you now have your very own tree against which you can sit and feel the bark against your back, which I recall is one of your simple pleasures, and will they prove suitable for Buzz to climb when he's bigger? That's from Nugget.
Well, it is. You're quite right. I think I feel at my most blissed out when I'm sitting with my back against a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
love, like Baloo. You know when Baloo scratches his back?
Yeah.
That's when you're listening to your Orb album, so I hate it.
I don't mean
like that.
Baloo, the boy band.
No.
I mean that big bear character.
Mm-hmm.
The Jungle Book.
In the Jungle Book. Yeah, but we don't. I'm sort of... I've planted some. Well,
Planted trees.
Yeah.
Some trees. Oh,
But I think by
good
the
luck waiting for
time,
those.
by the time I'm able to sit and scratch my back on them,
No.
I'm going to have the problem because my coffin will be between me and the actual trunk.
That's nice.
You could
Yeah.
grow your own coffin, that'd be good.
Well, I suppose in a way I could, yeah. But I don't know how long that's going to take. Yeah, I suppose I could have one that was sort of open plan.
You know,
Anyway.
bamboo is very fast growing, so you could grow that and just use that as a back
Yeah, well,
scratcher.
anyway. Oh, back scratcher.
Yeah.
I've got a back scratcher, actually. Somebody brought me back from holiday, and I'll tell you what's fascinating about it. It's a back scratcher on one end and a shoe horn on the other.
Nice.
Do you know that's one of my slight phobias? Back scratcher, you know when they're shaped like a hand, it makes me feel physically
Oh,
sick.
a claw.
Makes me feel physically sick.
Well, what they didn't run the whole thing. What they should have done on this one, because this is shaped like a hand. But
Does it have a clasp thing that goes up and down and the hand opens and
it's slightly
closes?
deformed, the little finger slightly bent outwards. But what they should have done is they should have gone for a flattened hand for the shoehorn.
Yeah.
At the other end.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you had two hands, a left and a right. That would have been very clever. But they've just gone traditional shoehorn. And that's why so many of these things fall flat at the design stage. Yeah, the back scratcher business could do with a complete overhaul.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
Texting subject line fantasy football team names. Been sitting in that inbox for 18 years, apparently.
You'd think so. Does it say anything?
Oh,
is it
just-
worth repeating?
Well, it would have been in 1997.
Well.
No, I don't mean to be. We love you getting involved. It's from Dan.
You turned that round beautifully.
You'd never have known it was seamless.
Yeah, we love you so much, we're just going to read the title and then mock it. Is that what you're up to?
Well, that's what I do with both of your shows, to be
Indeed.
fair. That's not true. I did actually go and see Alan Cochrane's show, Frank. So
Yeah.
I did yours.
Any good?
You've got to do Daddy Bear's first.
Any good? I'm here.
You've got to get...
Oh, sorry, I forgot you was there.
You've got to get Daddy Bear's show out the way with first.
Oh, no, I agree.
I went to see Alan's show a couple of nights ago. I loved it.
Okay.
I thought it was fabulous. Can I just say, though, I laughed...
Was it better than mine or worse?
Oh, don't ask me questions like that. Oh.
Shorter, that's for sure.
Well, both of
Well,
you...
mine's extended by laughter.
Oh.
Mine wasn't that night, that's for sure.
It was. Both of you, I would say, didn't do great on the recognisability factor. I didn't get recognised. You know that's how I judge a show, whether it's good or not. If people say, "Oh, you're Emily,"
Why don't, I'm happy. I once saw Shirley Bassey at I think it was at Empire Pool, Wembley, and she introduced Danny LaRue in the audience, and he stood up and a spotlight went on him, and maybe I should have done that.
Can I be
It's
honest?
fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
There is a part of me, I'm going to be completely honest, there is a part of me whenever I go to your show, and I hope you'll do that.
Yeah.
I think a spotlight might go on me. I honestly thought that the last time. I thought you might say, well, and I couldn't do it without Emily, who's here tonight. And then I'll stand up and everyone will applaud me.
Well, that would be...
Or is that too much to ask?
No, not at all. I mean, I normally just reserve it for LaRue, as Shirley Bassey did. But no, I'd be happy to do that. We'll let me know where you're sitting next time,
Okay.
and I'll have a word with the lighting man.
Thank you very much, yeah. It needs about 3 hours prep for that for me. I had a pint at Alan's show.
What?
You had a pint?
Well, I just felt I should.
Too much, a pint.
Oh, I was trying to fit in and be laddie.
I've said to you before, I look at men now with a pint and think, that's a lot, isn't it? I think that's a lot to drink. You're going to drink all that? Great big glass of liquid. What do you want all that for? That's what I always think. Look at that lot.
Frank.
Come and drink that. On your own.
On your own. Yeah.
Sort of,
We'll get a shared pint, like a big pizza.
It's like a pig at a trough.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, what about when I was at Alan Cochrane's show at the stand? Tickets still available. And I said to the lady, I've got some tickets, you still have to queue. I said, no, I won't.
Oh, dear.
I actually said, no, I won't. And I didn't.
Oh, didn't you?
The end of that story.
Respect.
Say who won that battle.
Yeah, blimey.
We've had a text in.
That's another yes voter.
We've had a text saying Annika Rice was praising Frank's show on her Radio 2 programme this morning.
Ricey.
Oh, that's so cute.
Ricey.
That's so cute.
She's, I saw her last night. Very lovely, Annika Rice.
What do you mean you saw her last night? Show ends at 10:30.
No, I saw her. She was in a green room.
Lovely.
We once shared a golf buggy at Skibo Castle, the grounds off.
Really?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Me, Annika Rice, and Koo Stark. Remember Koo Stark?
No.
Beautiful.
She went out with Prince Andrew in
Do you
the
know
80s.
what? She sat at when we were in Skibo. I don't know if you've ever been to Skibo Castle.
No,
It's where Madonna got married.
Yes,
Oh,
it's
is it?
very ornate place. And we went into one of the rooms, and there was like quite an elaborate ladies' dressing table, and Koo Stark sat down, and I picked up a Victorian, ornate Victorian hairbrush, and I brushed Koo Stark's long, lustrous. There was other people there.
It sounds
to
like
make it
the worst adult film in the world.
Yeah, I brushed her long, lustrous hair. Do you know what? 3 months later, it's in the paper, she's pregnant.
Is that right?
Can you get that from a hairbrush?
Don't think so. Sounds like she might
Well,
be
I
up to
don't
other
know.
stuff.
If anyone knows that, if there's any fertility stroke hairdresser people listening, give us a shout. I met the amazing Bubble Man.
Oh,
You know him?
No, I don't know him.
He does a show called The Amazing Bubble Man.
Wow.
Does he own a
Is it
car?
eponymous? Like Oreo?
He's an extremely eponymous character. I was thinking, why don't I do that? Why don't I call my show The Hilarious Frank Skinner? Why don't I change my name? I could change my name. You know, Marvellous Marvin Hagler, the boxer, did
Yeah.
that. So people would have to say, no, ladies and gentlemen, The Hilarious Frank Skinner. I mean, that would be...
Brilliant.
You could just write your own reviews. And
What does he do? Does he wash cars?
well, he does a lot of bubble-based stuff. I had an interesting conversation with him, and then I went to check out his show. So I'll give you the details in half a mo.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, playing the greatest hits. Oh, actually, I think I've read the slogan of the radio station that we're actually... we're not really playing the greatest hits. Anyway, I'm with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show.
Eelers.
If you put a small note on a moray eel and point it northwards, it should get up here before the end of the hour.
It's good for those people that have moved past what they call snail mail, isn't it? Which is what they call the post now, isn't it?
Is that what they call it?
Snail
Yeah,
mail.
then when the post has gone completely, those people look back and wish they hadn't been so disparaging.
Yeah, but then they'll be using eel mail that you've just...
Yeah, but how long's that
Coined.
going to last?
good point.
I mean, they're slippery the best of times.
Very good. Before you return to your amazing Bubble Man story, I just thought I might... it's a shame, really, because we don't really read as many praisey texts and emails as we get, but I'm now going to...
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but I'm going to read you a text that you may not appreciate. I mean, there's a sting in the tail.
Great.
There's a sting in the tail for me, too. Frank, you informed us at your amazing show last night that you have 90 suits. I really think you should rephrase that and make it 89. It's time to say goodbye to last night's suit. Emily, you need to be keeping a closer eye on him.
Oh, it's collective responsibility. It's like the England team.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm wearing it today.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I didn't know that when I read this. He continues, or she continues, Alan, saw your show too. Good show, rubbish crowd.
Oh.
Oh, that's down with faint praise.
Emily, what night were you there? So there we go.
Oh.
That's suggesting you could be part of a rock band.
Yeah, exactly.
I was actually there on Thursday night, I believe.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I think that suits perfectly. It's my favourite kind of suit, actually. It was free.
It's a sort of chocolate brown, isn't it?
No,
Or slate grey?
Grey. It's grey. I had a grey suit. A guy came up to me the other day in a cafe and said...
That's one of Frank's little funny words, isn't it, Al? A cafe.
You're working for the post office there, Frank. And I used to have a grey suit in the old days, and I used to keep a card in my pocket that said on it, which I wrote, and it said, "Congratulations, you're the 1,000th person to do the post office joke."
Oh.
If anyone mentioned it, I used to get it out.
Oh.
But then in England, I think they went to blue.
Oh,
the insignia, are they called now?
Oh,
or
they've
something?
got baseball caps and all sorts
Yeah,
now.
oh God, it's all gone a bit wrong. But I think
Jim Davidson wouldn't like it.
maybe they're still grey. Anyway, the Amazing Bubble Man. So I said, he said, well, if you got a kid, I met him I was doing BBC Breakfast. There was him and some people dressed as dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that doesn't sound depressing.
No, they were fabulous, actually. And he was doing very big bubbles. And that's what he does, the Amazing Bubble Man.
I would hope so, with that name. He wants to get a name change, otherwise.
What if you went to see him, he didn't do any bubbles, didn't even refer
I'd
to it?
love him if he did that.
Yeah, if you wait. Well, I wondered because he said to me, "Do you have any kids?" And I said, "Yeah, I got a 2-year-old up here with me." He said, I was going to say bring him to the show, but 2's a bit young.
No.
Did you say no? He's going to see the Duck and Death or whatever.
The Duck and Death is a lovely pub down our road, just next to the funeral directors. No, he said, I thought it was a bit too young for the Bubble Man.
Really? What's his demographic?
I wondered if the Bubble Man, I think this is his 7th year, I wonder if it's like, you know your modern comedians now, your young comics feel they have to do a theme in which they talk about, the death of a grandparent or something like that, as well as I wonder if he's doing, if he's had a marriage breakup and he's doing it in telling the story through bubbles.
Bubble form.
Yeah, I'm doing something that's a bit more, I've sort of moved on a bit this year.
Yeah.
I don't want the 2-year-old. And I thought, bubbles, surely the universal language.
You can't do an adult bubble routine.
I'd
You
already
can, but
decided.
that's a very different show.
Yeah, well, I'd already planned to go and see him. I must admit, I'd misread it as Bublé at that point. But we did go. We went and saw. We went and saw the Bubble Man. I'll give you my thoughts on it.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Yeah, so speaking of amazing, so I went to see the Amazing Bubble Man, and he blew a lot of big bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I don't think he'd have probably. I get the feeling at the end of it, he thought, "Oh, didn't quite go today." He had a lot of bubbles burst quite early on.
Oh, did
You know
they?
when you blow a bubble,
Yeah.
you get your normal bubbles with the circular thing, and sometimes you pick up your blow and it just goes,
Yeah.
and there's nothing. He had a few of those, but obviously on quite a grand scale. I wondered how much his act was affected by atmospherics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
been the weather.
air temperature, heat, cold.
Does he do material as well, or does he just blow the just the bubble?
No, he
blowing?
does mainly bubbles. He does a little bit, but it's a soapy experience all round. And
Was it just you and Kath then?
no, it was there was a lot of children there, and he gets people up on stage, kids. And stuff.
Okay.
And he got a little girl up there, Nadine, she was called, very sweet. And I think she's one of those very keen to get up there. As soon as she got up there, she thought, not sure about this. You could tell she wasn't happy. I so identified with that experience. But you have to stay. She realised you have to stay, which we all realise ultimately. But yeah, there was a lot of that. But it was very. If you like bubbles, I'd recommend it. But that.
That's a poster quote for next year for him, innit?
Yeah.
If you like bubbles, I'd recommend it.
Yeah, exactly.
The Amazing Bubble
If you
Man.
don't like bubbles, you'd hate it.
No.
I think
not
even
for you.
he would admit that.
If you don't like bubbles, it'll be a letdown.
Yeah. But there was a lot of burst bubbles that day.
Yeah.
There was one hole, there was like 2 sticks with like string on when he was and he stood in front of a fan blowing, and it was all set for the biggest bubble, and he stood there and the fan blew and he held the thing and then he did it again out of the bucket. He went, then he did it again, and it went, and he said, just put it down again. I thought the bubbles burst, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But I didn't say it.
Oh, Frank, we've had a request. Don't suppose there's any chance of an FM tuner so we can listen offline?
Get the address and I'll put one in a jiffy. Yeah, that'd be good. So I'd reckon, Buzz liked it, I think.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he mentioned it a couple of times after.
I like that he went to see. That's like when I went to see my first 18 movie when I was 14. Him going to see that Bubble Man.
Yeah, but it was. I didn't feel. Oh God, it's a bit old.
In what way do you feel it wouldn't have been appropriate for a 2-year-old?
I don't know. There was that long speech about immigration in the middle.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought, well, it was borderline. Let's put it that way.
And then,
and
then there's the whole thong interlude.
Yeah.
Let's not even go there.
Don't get me wrong, it included bubbles. It wasn't just that. It was. He showed, one bubble represented one nation, the other.
Right. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, but that was a weird bit. I'm sure about that bit. But I think it's good he's trying new stuff.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, I felt very uncomfortable during that bit. Yeah, I went to the. I'll tell you what, I went to the museum as well, the National Museum of Scotland.
Oh yeah,
lovely.
In Edinburgh. Very good.
Regular haunts, is it not?
Well, I filmed there recently, and that made me realise that it could be a great place to take a child.
Mm-hmm. I love a museum. It's such a Disney movie waiting to happen.
Yes. Well, there was I'll tell you what. Boz really liked was the stuffed animals room.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's called that. I think it's called Natural History, but it is a lot of stuffed animals. My plan was to take him to Edinburgh Zoo while we was up here, but I'm thinking now they are, in a way, they're better stuffed.
Yeah.
To look at.
They might be hiding if you go to the zoo.
Well, that's it. That thing when I hate the fact that they have their own living quarters that they can stay in.
They've got plans, animals.
But who had that idea? We'll have a zoo, but we'll make it optional for the animals.
Don't talk to me about the bears, Frank.
They can have their living quarters, and if they don't feel like coming out, we all have to work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What if I don't feel like going out one day? Am I supposed to?
They must feel like the people watching are papping them. It must be like you feeling papped.
Yeah, but if people came to the show and they could just see, say, my leg just behind the curtain, and I never come out for the whole show.
Yeah.
The way they don't. Or there's just like a big branch on stage and a couple of stones, and they're looking to see if I'm in there somewhere, but they can't.
I'd actually love that.
People would be outraged by that, I think. They get away with it.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
Yes, I'm honestly thinking having, I'm not saying I won't go to the zoo, but I think there are definite pluses with the stuffed animals. That's never occurred to me before. They don't smell.
No.
As I say, they're out there. You get a show. It's not cruel.
Yeah.
Well,
what, the stuffed animals?
I think. Surely you can say it's not cruel now. Now that they've been stuffed.
No, they're dead.
Yeah.
I think they stuff them dead.
Yeah.
What are you suggesting?
But
they stuff them live to keep them vibrant.
No, but once upon a time those.
Yeah, he's worrying how their passing
came
about.
Yeah, they might well have been killed for a museum back in the day.
Do you think so? No,
yeah.
I think there was a natural causes disclaimer card.
You think
on the wall, if I remember rightly?
Right. If some of them got tyre tracks across them, then that's fine. But if not,
no, I think there was a hyena in a sling.
All right.
Which made me think. I hadn't thought of that actually, how they were killed.
No.
But if you're going to make an omelette.
Exactly, yeah.
It seems less cruel, when there's no pacing, that terrible pacing you get.
That the animals do.
Yeah. You only ever see, the big cats, polar bears, and comedians pace up and down.
Yes.
Like that. Terrifying.
Can I just say, I think the bears are the worst in terms
Generally?
of not delivering how they should.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah, because you get fed all these, Yogi Bear, and they seem quite fun and interesting, and party animals, and they just hide in that cave. I've waited hours to see a bear.
At the zoo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
hours.
I say it's hit and miss with the animals.
Well, I once went up a river that was meant to have crocodiles in it, and it was exactly the temperature that they liked being in the water. It was a complete waste of time. I could have gone up a river in Peterborough or something rather than in Australia.
What you needed was, say, an immersion eater over the side of the boat.
Exactly.
Sweat them out.
Or a big bag of ice cubes.
All that, if that was... That's, I mean, it's less practical to carry in...
exactly.
In Africa. Yogi Bear, when they did the live-action Yogi Bear film, did you see that?
No.
They did one, with like...
What, did they have a man in a bear costume?
Well, I think there was a bit of that and a bit of CGI.
Oh, I can't bear
was
that.
Was it Andy Serkis?
I mean, not the cartoon. I don't think it was Andy Serkis. He was Boo Boo.
Right.
No,
he only does CGI.
But they made,
how Michael Sheen only does the impressions? Andy Serkis only does CGI.
I know, but it's good to have a specialist.
No, he won't do it.
It's like the Amazing Bubble Man.
Yeah.
You find something you can,
He's the amazing CGI man.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they made the hair quite coarse on Yogi Bear.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing I always liked about Yogi Bear in the cartoons, he looked like he was very... You wanted to stroke him, you know what I mean? He looked very smooth.
Nice sheen.
There was no real... no sense that you could even rub him the wrong way.
No.
It was very, very finished, properly.
Bit badger.
Professionally finished.
Uh-huh.
But the one in the... I'm calling it live action, he was... bristly.
Can I ask you a question? Does he have a Top Cat style waistcoat? Does he have any clothes, Yogi
Does
Bear?
he have a collar and tie and a hat?
Yes, and no pants, my favourite.
No, he doesn't have any pants, but that didn't seem to matter when he was when he was professionally finished. I think all that was just
under the carpet.
It was just planed away. Yeah, he had a nice smooth non-controversial finish.
You have to tell me who he goes to.
Yes. It's but I didn't notice the one in the film. The other, whether that had I didn't. It was a lot of it was shot above the waist. Come to think of it, it's always, I suppose, there's plain sight.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We need to talk about a news story that has come to my attention this week, not least because there was a typing mistake on the Daily Mail online for most of yesterday when I saw it. Sylvester Stallone has said that in the pomp of their 80s fame, him and Arnold Schwarzenegger were serious rivals that couldn't stand each other. They couldn't bear to be in the same room.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently he said that he could have choked Arnie. And to be honest, the Daily Mail had misspelled choked. They'd gone for CHOCKE, so it read chocked. I could have chocked Arnie. Well, you were both big guys, maybe a bit of death by chocolate. I don't know what. Is that what's caused it?
That was in their dirty face days.
Yeah,
there was always on posters with dirty faces.
Oh, yeah.
Often with a huge automatic weapon of some kind, but they're looking like a sort of a post-nuclear Stig of the Dump.
Yes,
that was the look.
Very much so.
Well, they're doing it for this Expendables movie.
Expendables 3.
Which everyone's in. Have you seen them all lined up?
Is that a dirty face poster?
Yeah, it's dirty face.
Yeah. Definitely.
Everyone's in it. Charlie's in it. Daisy's in it. They're all in it.
See, I don't like dirty face films much.
I
don't mind sweaty face films.
What about Rambo?
Rocky. I like Rocky.
Rocky's good.
Yeah. Rambo.
Oh, Rambo's brilliant. I love Rambo.
Yeah, but
that's dirty face.
You've got that. You've got that in your armoury, that macho thing.
Yeah, I'm really macho. Everyone knows that about me. Yeah.
He said
really macho.
They hated each other so much that Sly, as I call him, haven't met Sly. I've met Arnie though. Just FYI.
Have you? I've met Arnie.
How did you find him?
I told you, didn't I? He did a low five thing, and I didn't know what it was, and I did like a sideways handshake. It's very embarrassing.
Yeah, that is awkward.
He was all right. He was talking to me. He said, "It's hot in here, isn't it?" And someone raced over with a couple of wet wipes and started dabbing him.
That could have been a setup line.
Yeah, it could have been. Yeah,
maybe they knew that he was about to take his jacket off, and he was going, "It's getting hot in here," and that was just a habit of his.
And take off all your clothes.
We've got to cool him down before he starts getting his kit off. You know what he's like.
I am getting so hot.
This is sounding more and more. Kills him. British.
He was much shorter than I anticipated.
Yes, he is short.
Who, Arnie?
He's a shorty. He's a little shorty, isn't he, Frank?
He was shorter than me.
But he's shorter than Frank.
He was considerably wider.
I think I always think he's tall because
he had a foundation tide mark, which you don't often have.
Oh.
Did he? No, well, he was being wiped when I saw him.
All right.
So Sly said that...
But weren't they... I'm sorry, weren't they in Planet Hollywood together?
Yeah.
Wow.
I love your modern references.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a leather bomber jacket, brown and cream combo with Planet Hollywood London on the back.
I'll stop showing off.
Is it getting much action these days?
Well, I'm thinking I might bring it out.
That'd be
I'll
great if you brought that
It's
back.
warm. You'd be amazed how warm it is. It's a good sturdy leather.
It'd be warming leather. You're
You know,
right.
jackets from those days, you felt you could stand them up and they'd be all right on their own.
It'd be good for you with you making up the man for the next day, innit? When you dress the chair.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
could stand over me like a mighty sentinel. Yeah, it's... I'd like to get out the old Planet Hollywood.
Oh, please do.
Oh, yeah.
Brown in the
I think
body.
it could-
Absolutely. In the bodies.
It could make my September if you...
Brown
The
in the
first show we
bodies
do
and,
after we're in Edinburgh, please wear your Planet Hollywood jacket.
It's almost beige. It's virtually beige on the arm.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
It doesn't exist anymore, Planet Hollywood, does it?
Oh, no.
No.
Closed down some years ago, my friend.
It was the people involved then. It was Sly and Arnie.
It was all the Dirty Face Brigade.
Was it?
Yeah. It was Sly, Arnie and Bruce Willis.
Oh, yeah.
He's dirty and sweaty face, isn't he?
Yeah, he does. And they all particularly Willis and Sly at home in a singlet.
Yes.
Yeah.
I suppose Jason Statham now would be your dirty face
Yeah.
poster boy.
Probably.
He's in the
Diesel, I
Expendables.
suppose.
No, he's in the Expendables.
Did you call him Diesel? He's called Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Vin
I like that
Diesel.
you call him
But you'd
Diesel.
say Stallone, wouldn't you?
I don't think you say
I would say
Diesel.
Stallone.
Would you say Sly? I wouldn't say Vin. If I'd said Vin.
Sly said when he walked into the room, Arnie, he used to say, "Oh, it's him."
Yeah, you know when he said that, do you think
Yeah.
he's just been listening to our show when we quote people and say, "Oh, it's
Yeah.
he's actually walking in and
Said,
thinking,
yeah, so I
it's
looked
him."
up and I said, "Oh no, it's Sly." So Sly says, "Yeah, so I looked up and I said, oh, it's him." Did you actually say it? No, I did. I know what you mean when people say, oh. So I said, oh, but I actually did say, oh, on this occasion. That's interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't normally say, oh. Well, on this occasion, I went, oh, it's him. Okay.
Well, we've had a text about Emily's impression of Arnie, but I'm
Oh,
expecting
I can't wait to hear it.
Emily's impression of Arnie
Yes.
was extraordinary. Didn't know he was French. That's what it says.
Oh, well, thanks a lot.
I wonder what we'll get from Frank's rendition
I've been
of
workshopping
Sylvester
that.
Stallone
Nothing
there.
wrong with that.
I've been
Yo, Paulie,
A different film. He's jumped films.
I did it for you, Adrian.
That's what you said to Adrian Chiles.
I did,
when you
actually.
drove him up to Birmingham.
I've done that many a time. What if I did that? What if I drove him to West Brom and then just sat in the seat, wouldn't let him out the car, just 2 inches from his face, saying, I did it for you, Adrian. Yeah, all right, sir. Can you stop it
Yeah,
there?
right, an absolute nightmare, though, Frank, trying to get up here. So, what about when they made up?
Hold on,
Oh,
don't, let's not jump ahead. Let's have some music. So we've got them, they're separated, they're
Yeah.
angry, and then let's have a moment
Yeah.
where we get used to that idea
Yeah.
before we put them back together again.
Okay.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, we were discussing the Sly and Arnie feud, which ran for some years.
I'm amazed. I don't quite understand. What were they angry about? Just that they were rivals?
Yeah, I think each other's size. I think
Well-
Stallone was upset that Arnie was bigger and that he was several times Mr. Olympia.
Well, I still talk to you, in
Yeah.
fairness.
Yeah.
And Sly said he wanted to strangle him every day in the morning and at night.
Oh, okay.
He'd get the job done in the morning.
So it's not what he's talking about. He doesn't want to kill him. He just wants to just keep it. It's not about the spin plates.
Yeah.
You want to keep him in a perpetual state of choking, semi-choking. So just something to get over it, and at the end, starting to feel a little bit. Oh, it is again. Like that. Keeping him topped up on the choking front.
I mean, as a member of the S&M community, you can understand how debilitating that can be, can't you?
You've got to know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you know how it ended?
Tangerine? Oh, sorry, it's a different... different... I got mixed up. No,
Yes.
Did
Emily's gone.
I've forgotten. I've read the story.
I know what happened.
I know what...
Stallone wanted to do something radical and weird, didn't he? I need to do something really weird.
Yeah, he did do something weird.
Yeah.
He walked up to him and he said, "Do you want to dance?"
Oh, he said to
Arnie.
Okay, and did he say, "I'd rather eat glass"?
Yeah. And he said, "Come on, let's dance like no one's looking."
Yeah.
That's what happened. They did.
I think that's quite a good idea, to dance with your sworn enemy.
See, I think if somebody muscly came up to me and said, "Do you want to dance?" I'd think that it was a threat. I think they were saying, "Let's fight." You know, like people do in films like they make. Do you want to dance? That's what they're...
Can I ask you both a question? Do either of you have sworn enemies? I've got one.
I'm very bad at feuds.
Do you not have any feuds?
I don't really have any grudge stamina.
Don't you?
So I can be really furious, and then it goes away, and I just can't get it back again. I can't.
Oh, stick around. Stick around with me.
Yeah.
Because there's one woman, I hate her so much. I've known her for many years. She's married to an old friend of mine.
I really want... Can we just leave this there? Because
it's getting tense.
As a teaser...
I was getting tense.
As a teaser, I think that's fantastic. Just that as a setup. I mean, I hope we haven't lost that moment now, but that was... that's quite an opener, isn't it?
Oh, isn't it?
I just think one so rarely hears the word "I hate" on commercial radio.
Absolutely despise her.
Another human being, or indeed despise. Keep them coming.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 8 12 15. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Yeah, so your feud.
Oh, yeah. So I was talking about this woman I hate. I don't hate many.
No.
But this woman I hate.
How many do you hate? Ballpark figure.
This is the person I hate most ever in my whole life.
Wow.
Okay.
I've given up talking to her now. There's no point.
No.
She
won't be talked to. Oh, she knows. Oh,
Wow.
she knows.
Okay.
Wow.
She was married to a friend of mine. They split up. Thank the Lord. Here's just a sample of some of the things she would say to me.
Okay.
I remember once going to a party. I look lovely, if I do say so myself. I'd made an effort.
Yeah.
Some nice eyeshadow I was trying out.
Okay.
She came over to me. A man said to me, "Oh, you look great." I said, "Thanks." She said, "Yeah, you do. I like your eyeshadow. My 6-year-old's got one just like it."
Oh.
Okay. Hit route 1 for the likes of me.
Could that have been accidental?
Okay, do you want to hear the next one?
Okay.
I used to write them down when I used to get home. The next one.
In eyeshadow.
Yeah.
That would have been good.
We're at the premiere. I'll tell you the premiere because I'd like her to ID herself,
Okay.
if needs be. It was for Romeo and Juliet. Remember that film?
Yeah.
Baz Luhrmann.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm aware it's not only a film.
Good
No, I know
soundtrack
that.
on that one, on that film.
She was overdressed, I won't lie.
Okay.
She looked a bit Young Musician of the Year.
Right.
And Leonardo DiCaprio's there. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit cooler. It's a little
Right.
bit more LBD, little black dress, which
Yeah.
I'd gone for.
Yeah,
I'd hit it. I'd hit it dead right.
Yeah.
That's what I wore to that premiere as well, actually. LBD.
It was the 90s.
I
think
went as a balcony.
it was the 90s. I think I might have been talking to the fun-loving criminals or someone.
Okay.
Yeah.
She came over. She was furious because she got the dress code so wrong and I'd got it so right.
Okay.
So she said, "So nice to see you, but when are we going to see you dressed up? I only ever see you like this on your sloppy joes."
Oh, that is...
Oh, yeah.
Dear.
Yeah.
So I'd had enough of her. By the time she came out with her third one, I lost it. Someone had bought me a very generous gift, a piece of jewellery.
Nice.
She said, "Oh, that's so nice. I'm so glad someone never bought me anything like that, because I'd feel very beholden to them."
Oh.
I said, "That's lucky, because no one ever will."
Good for
And
you.
I've never spoken to her since.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You didn't even say so.
I
if you
saw
want
her
to dance.
recently. I saw her. I did a bit of a Sly and Arnie. It was at a posh designer do. I saw her, and I went, "Oh," and I just walked out.
Really?
And you know, there's something quite cleansing and liberating about it.
Yeah.
I hate her. She hates me. Let's call the whole thing restraining order.
Brilliant.
Wowee, that's quite a
I need
story.
some beefs. Why haven't I got any beefs? I want some beefs now.
Life's
You've
too
made it-
short, Frank. You can't waste time. Life's too short, and so are the skirts she wears at her age.
You know what? You've made this sound really appealing. You've made it sound really appealing to have a beef. Why? Don't you want a beef now that she's got a beef?
I
Really?
don't have a beef in me. See, if I'd be very upset about what they'd said to me, and I'd sulk about that for days.
Yeah.
But also,
Right.
then I'd think the next time I went to mass, I'd feel bad about what I'd said to them. That's my life.
Oh, right, yeah.
But no, I can't.
You could just have a beef and stop going to mass. I'm going to throw you a curveball there.
Shut your face. Can I say at the end of this, sometimes people say something and they just go up in your estimation.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone in this article, so he's talking about the fact that he was the big dirty face poster man, and then Arnie came along, and he says you can only be hot once. After that, you just have to hang on. And that is so true.
Yes.
And I respect. It reminded me when I saw Peter Stringfellow on a daytime TV programme talking about having a 17-year-old girlfriend, and this woman said, "What do you find to talk about with a 17-year-old?" He said, "Well, I'm very lucky like that because I'm shallow, so I don't need." And I thought, respect to you for saying that. That is quite a comeback. And this is how I feel about Stallone, just hanging on. Fabulous.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So we're at the Edinburgh Festival. I don't know if we've actually said where we are during this show, have we? Have we made it clear that we're up here?
Yeah, Frank, Daddy said it.
Have we not mentioned Edinburgh?
We have. We did a bit of our show's discussion. And I'm going to be honest, I think I might be feeling a little heightened emotions up here.
All right, Mariah Carey.
Yeah, I do. I cried at the end of I got a bit teary at the end of a circus show, just because it had been good, and I thought, oh, they've put all that work into it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
and
I cried at the Bobble Man.
yeah.
It just popped a bit close to my eye. No, you cried at the circus.
I welled up because it had been so good, and it was very visible that they'd put a lot of work into it, and it had gone well, and it was my little boy's birthday, and we were all out as a family.
Oh,
and it
well,
was just really
now you
good.
put it in its context.
Yeah.
That isn't. What's it? Well, give them a plug.
Oh,
What they're called?
Pants Down Circus. Absolutely brilliant. Very good.
Okay.
Really good show.
I didn't see that coming.
No, they don't.
I thought it was going to be like a kids thing.
Can
No,
I
it
just
was,
say?
it was.
Can
They
I
don't
just say? Nor
perform
did
it.
the audience.
They don't perform it pants down. That's just the name of the show.
Oh, okay. fine.
But also, when they arrived, my little family
Pants
have come
down,
up.
Abbey.
My
That's where I live.
my son and daughter and my wife arrived to the flats that I'm renting for the month in Edinburgh on Tuesday. And my daughter has inadvertently been making me feel like I'm a divorced gentleman
Oh, has she?
by walking around the flat that I'm renting for the month going, "I really like your new house, Daddy. I really like your new house. I love your house, Daddy."
Oh.
And every time she says it, I think, yeah, she seems to think I've moved out and I'm living away from her. So even when we're in the park, she was very loudly saying, "Can we go back to your new house now? Let's go back to your house."
Oh, I bet people are thinking, it's one of them dads, just get some at weekend.
And what they're thinking is, do you know what? It's a very modern relationship. They're very
Yeah.
civilised to each other.
And do you know
Yeah.
what? A day and a half in, after she'd been really annoying, I was thinking, I think it's time you went back to your house now.
Yeah.
See you, love.
Yeah.
Go on, you're doing my head in.
You've been lying fantasising about the fact that it was
Isn't
your
so
house.
fashionable to say. I got a bit angry when I was walking through Bristow Square up at the other end of Edinburgh from where we are now, when a young person in a cagoule walked up and flyered me for Frank Skinner's show.
Really?
Oh, can I give you a flyer for Frank Skinner? A flyer? I'm with the band.
At least they didn't say you're not coming in, like I had at your show. Do you know what I do? I've learnt what to do. Just stick some laminates around your neck. Can be any laminates.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Could be Lindisfarne, 1981. Just stick any laminates, probably.
That's actually the one laminate I've brought up with me, so that's
Stick
handy.
those all round your neck and they won't approach. It's a deterrent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes you look sort of...
important and busy.
Right.
I had them round my neck when I went to the Jim Davidson gig.
Okay.
You went where?
We'll discuss this later.
Oh, okay.
What did you take the leaflet?
No, because I thought, well, that's waste. I know when his show's on. I'm seeing him every Saturday morning, and frankly, I don't need a flyer. If I was at the Edinburgh Festival as Joe Public, I was on the Frank Skinner train early. You know, I watched you when I was at school, didn't I? On the TV.
God, I get a lot of that.
Yeah,
I remember watching you when I was at school.
Well, probably you do if the front row are 7 and 3 years old.
Well, exactly. Hey, not even at school, yeah. Some of my audience.
I've also
you know what I'm talking about?
Well, you shouldn't call your show Pants Down.
Yeah.
No.
I've also developed a very specific Edinburgh Festival shyness, Frank, that I might pick your brains about.
Oh.
I have found when I am walking the streets, if I walk past the large lamppost posters that I've paid for of myself, I feel mortified because people are playing a big version of Human Snap. I can see people look at me and go, there he is over there.
Oh, yeah.
I shouldn't have brought the same jacket that I've got in the picture.
Have you done that?
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm walking around in the jacket.
Oh, you're not. You're
instinctively-
so standing by that lamppost waiting to be recognised.
Well,
Yeah,
actually, a friend of mine did text saying, I haven't got in touch with you because there's your poster right outside my flat. And I texted back saying, that's not my poster, I'm just there grinning at you.
yeah.
And she said, that's creepy.
I instinctively reproduce the pose when I walk past by.
Take your shirt off, quickly.
Actually, I spoke to a woman the other day. She said, I think I owe you an apology. My dog pees on your poster every morning.
I kissed that the other day.
Oh, yeah, you did, that's
Oh.
right. I don't think it pees that high. I'll find out.
You don't know where I kissed.
I'll check the breed for you. We'll soon get to the bottom of this.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Oh, sorry.
Email corner.
I don't think that jingle has ever startled quite so many people.
No,
as
it came out of nowhere.
We're in email corner, so
Aren't we?
I'm going to start with an email. This one is from... We're sort of inadvertently in email corner, but while we're here,
Yeah,
let's take a pew.
we've landed.
What's your poison? It's my shout.
The email has landed. That's what we could... that's what this could be. We could use the theme tune from The Eagle Has Landed.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Oh, here comes the eagle. Oh, here it comes. It is flying. Oh, it's not flying anymore. It's landed. It's landed. The eagle has landed. That's what happened then. Do you remember it?
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it's sort of a
That's
marching.
what happened then.
It's a sort of a marching tune, I remember. There's a bit of whistling.
You do love a bit of whistling, don't you?
God,
It's the caretaker in him.
Yeah.
This is from prisoner number 6075.
okay.
Good morning, all. I'm a long-time reader, first-time writer, and I have a dilemma. Read tickets for the Fringe Festival. Exclamation mark, or as we say in the trade, screamer.
Is that right?
Yes.
I don't know.
2 weeks ago, you
What trade did they say that in?
well, they say it when you're writing.
Yeah.
Any sort of writing, any publication, they'll refer to that as a screamer.
Screamer's
did
different
not
in
know
show
that.
The
business.
magazines and the newspapers, all sorts. 2 weeks ago, you were telling us that the Cockerel was playing at the Fringe.
Mm-hmm.
Fab, I think. I'm going with my mother. I will take her to see Alan. I like the tents being used here.
Bit rude.
Tickets bought, job done.
Oh, okay, tickets.
Then,
Yeah.
I listen this week, and you tell us Frank is also there.
Oh.
Here's my problem. We're only there for 2 nights. One seeing the tattoo,
Mm-hmm.
not the Russian
No,
band
not theirs.
No,
who
they're
used
not
to
there,
live near
sadly.
Frank.
No, they didn't live there. They lived in the flat above which I nearly bought a flat.
Or wherever it was worrying.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we can see you, Frank, at 8:45 p.m., then make it across... I know nothing of Edinburgh. To see, that wasn't me, this is this woman. To see Alan at 10:15... 10:10, actually.
Yeah, my show starts at 10:10, so you've just lost
Without-
5 minutes of journey
Oh,
time
so
immediately.
That's a big 10.
Without
so we do it
A,
again.
killing my mother, and B, causing a huge commotion being late for Alan. Tickets are bought for Thursday the 14th. Frank, if you're popping over to see Alan, maybe we could catch a lift. That's from prisoner 6075.
I don't think you're going to make it.
No.
I think we
Here's
clash.
what's happened.
Okay.
Frank has rewritten the Edinburgh Festival rulebook by really stretching his legs in his show. and he's eschewed the conventional 1 hour long set, and he's gone for, what is it, a 90? Is it 90?
It's a 90, more or less.
He's doing the TDK 90.
I'm paying for it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's that taking you from? 8:45? My mental arithmetic isn't great. 10:15?
It's about 10:15.
You don't want... If you leave Frank's early, it'll be a nightmare.
Oh, yeah, you'd be walking
people
about.
leave early all the time. It's a steady stream of exiters.
Mm-hmm.
The exiters or exitees?
Good question.
Well, also, you'll get the
To be
worst
honest,
of
I
both
don't get that
worlds.
many that I
'Cause
need
you'll
a collective noun for them.
You'll get grief from Frank for leaving early and then grief from Alan for coming in late.
Yeah, I mean, I
It's
was
a
going to
lose-lose.
suggest that I could just go up late and run short that night on Thursday. Is it Thursday? I'll just put it in my diary. Just
I tell you what, go and see Alan.
go
It's
on at
fine.
20 past. Oh, I was about to do that and see,
He needs,
see Frank.
he needs lifting. I think he's going
No,
to...
I don't. I've already got their tickets now. They could just...
Also, you've got...
Let's face it, you could both do with lifting.
Well, that's true. But you've got the option with mine. You can always buy the DVD.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look in the bargain bin.
Oh, zing!
You know, why are you wearing that sloppy Joe?
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We're still in email corner, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Frank et al.
Et al.
Et al.
That's good.
That's French
Is that
for
like a
and all,
reference to
isn't it?
you?
Maybe it is.
Well, it's good, but
M. Al, it could have
I was
been.
going to
Come
say
on.
it's good, but there's not much of me in it.
No, that's true.
Frank M. Al, though, I like.
The email continues. I am a sociology teacher living in Kenya. Who isn't?
Okay.
I'm a sociology teacher living in Kenya.
I wonder if he's read Family and Kinship in East London.
Why? Why do you wonder
So
that?
it's a sociological master text.
Oh, is it?
Oh, God,
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Maybe he's read Suicide by Emile Durkheim.
You think?
We're not just going to list books
No.
he might have read.
No, you're quite
I
right.
wonder if he's read Forever by Judy Blume.
I know you have.
I love that you've read that.
Read it, I committed it to memory. I'm a sociology teacher living in
absolutely
Kenya.
disgusting
and
creature.
a huge fan of the other Albion football team.
Oh, yes, Brighton and Hove.
Whilst on a Brighton football forum, we were discussing when a player scores a late consolation goal whilst being 4 or 5-0 down, a regular occurrence for both Albions, sadly.
Oh, yeah.
Said player always enthusiastically grabs the ball from the net, pushes the goalkeeper out of the way and runs back to the centre circle with a look of utter grit and determination
It's true.
before planting the ball back on the centre circle. A fellow poster on the forum suggested these players could be known as goal-down retrievers.
I like that.
I thought this term was utterly marvellous,
That's very fine.
one you would appreciate.
Lovely.
All the best for the upcoming season, and one day I hope to see 2 Albions in the Premier League. Peace, Matthew.
I like Goldan Retrievers, Frank.
No.
I like
that's
Peace, Matthew. That's good.
That's really good. I'll tell you what I miss is the thing when I used to go to football, if a player got injured, while he was being treated, the other players would sit on the pitch. They'd all sit down and properly relax.
Yeah.
You know, on one elbow. That
lays
kind of
about.
sitting, yeah. Except the one lucky player who got the ball as a little stool. And he'd sit on that. But they just all lazed about and he was mended again. Why is that stopped? And pitches then were horrible. Now they're lovely
yeah.
and light.
Yeah.
On
They're
the
lovely
style
now.
eating, you wouldn't want to get up, would you?
Has it stopped because they think it's given a psychological advantage to the other team because they think, oh, those guys
They
need
look like
to
they're
lie
off their
down.
game. Yeah.
That's what they all did. It didn't really matter. Everyone.
That's one of the things that they said during the World Cup when they went to extra time. They said, oh, they can't have a little rest in between like normal time and then extra time. You can't. You got to tell your teams not to sit on the floor or lie around. You've got to
really?
keep them on their feet,
Got to keep moving like a shark.
like a business
But you
meeting
can
with Richard
imagine
Branson or
just
something.
snuggling
They're
your
standing.
buttocks into the underside eating and, oh,
Yeah,
I hope
lovely.
this is a bad injury. Just get
Oh, this is a bad injury.
Have a
surely.
little lie down.
Yeah, I really miss that.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
Frank, you're a Doctor Who fan.
Yes.
hold the front page.
And extraordinarily have a child and a partner.
Oh,
These Doctor Who fans... Did you read about these Doctor Who fans? They had a Dalek wedding.
Yes,
Please tell me you read about this. You must have loved this story. You must have got it on one of your Who alerts, Frank.
You know what? I don't think it was on a Who alert.
It should have been.
No.
Odd. That is odd.
So, they decided to have their wedding vows renewed. The groom...
Can I ask you, why do people do that?
What do you mean?
Why do people get their wedding... I believe the wedding vows, traditionally, I don't know if it still happens, you promise to stay loyal to someone till death.
Mm-hmm.
Do they then go away and think, I don't know if that was committed enough? We need to go back and emphasise that a bit more.
Do you know what I think? I think everyone likes a bit of attention.
Yeah.
If they're anything like me, they do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's another excuse to be, a little star for the day.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So they're not really renewing their vows as such. It's
They're
not
having a
like
party.
vows.
It's a bit of a
Has the
knees up.
modern world come to this where vows are something that expire
Yeah.
after a
Frank
period
Skinner's
of time?
Has the
There's a
Modern World
shelf
Come
life.
to this is currently...
Has the modern world
the assembly
come to
rooms, Edinburgh. That's the title of my show next year.
So the groom wore a fez and a Tom Baker scarf. So the fez is Matt Smith, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
See, I'm not sure about the amalgam of the 4th and the 11th.
Oh, I'm not sure about any of it.
Do you think people were looking at him going, Doctor Who?
If my boyfriend turned up in a fez and a Tom Baker scarf, well, let's say we'd talk.
But that's not cosplay so much as crossplay, is it? I think you have to pick your doctor and then
Stick
go
with
for
it.
Yeah.
Even if it's McCoy, so be it. Stick with McCoy.
Go for the question mark Fair Isle tank top.
Yeah, why not?
But don't mix them up.
No.
Now, here's the really extraordinary bit. A Dalek turned up. I say turned up. I think it might have been brought there.
I don't think it was a surprise.
Yeah.
He was
would
the
have
best
gone
man.
in had he been invited or not, to be honest. That's what the
you're
Daleks
right.
are like, isn't it?
Oh, God, they're inclined to invade.
Yeah. And he was the best man.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Didn't the Dalek wear a bow tie?
He
Which
wore a
to
bow
me
tie.
It's a bit much.
And the Reverend said, "You may kiss the bride or be exterminated."
Yeah. See,
Well,
really,
I mean, that's light-hearted. That's
it
nice.
is light-hearted. I mean, I think I personally I would have preferred it if they're going to do
Some
the
of those Doctor Who
exterminate
fans'
joke.
breath. I think I'd prefer to be exterminated.
There you go again.
I like the fact that you're taking the tone of a persecuted minority here.
Well, it's...
There you go again.
the thing...
For the Whovians.
The thing that struck me about it, there was a Cyberman at the reception.
Mm-hmm.
That's
They
attractive.
said. But the Dalek, there was only a Dalek at the actual ceremony. You know when you get invited to a wedding and you don't get invited to the whole thing? Only the Dalek got to go to the ceremony. The Cybermen, who are quite a major force, go way back. They only got the reception. The Ice Warrior and the Autons were just at the evening do.
Oh, is he
no.
EDO, evening do only?
Yeah, I know. What an insult,
Oh,
though.
how embarrassing.
The Cybermen, I wouldn't have gone. Simple as that.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
In a break with tradition, I'd like to read a tweet. I don't normally deal with the Twitter.
Okay.
Just love Divine Miss M even more now.
Oh.
All girls have another girl they hate.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Emily is my hero from Claire Coupland on
Oh,
the
Claire,
Twitter.
I love you, thank you.
Yeah.
I was nervous about admitting it, and now
be honest,
I feel...
I thought the ladies
Now I feel
would,
there's no stopping me.
I thought the ladies would loathe you for that. I'm glad that they've gone on side. Great stuff.
See, we don't understand, that's why.
Yeah.
Well, you just hit each other.
Claire, she gave her name, did you say?
Yeah, Claire Coupland.
See, now, everyone that knows Claire Coupland as female is going to be thinking, oh, God, am I the woman
Is it
that
me?
she,
Yeah.
that she had?
Well, that's no bad thing.
No, exactly. That might up their
Yep.
game a bit.
And if I'm
cat
honest,
amongst the
that was
pigeons,
partly
isn't
my motive for saying that today. Let those female friends have a little think.
When you are honest, let's face it.
I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, over at the Doctor Who wedding,
Yes.
Yeah.
it was quite extraordinary. I think what I wanted to ask you, Frank, is as a follower of the Nazarene, how do you feel
are.
about this?
Well, I follow
Do
the
you feel
Nazarene,
it's
but, you know,
disrespectful?
I also follow the Gallifreyan. I can see the urge, especially because I think one thing with Doctor Who fans is often, I know you think that they're all single, but often that they're, what a more common scenario is a male Doctor Who fan who has a female partner who's not into it.
Right. Is that right?
But that's only the heterosexual. There's a massive gay following of Doctor Who. I know loads of gay Doctor Who fans. So it's much cooler than you think.
Mm-hmm.
But
you sold me.
But if you find a female who likes Doctor Who, it must be tempting to think, well, this is quite a rare coming together of minds.
Yes.
So let's theme the whole.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I still think if they're going to do the exterminate joke, they should save that for the divorce. I feel like
I know it does.
Is it a decree nisi or something like that? They could hand it over and go exterminate. That seems like it's there for the taking.
No, you're right. I hadn't thought of that. I suppose that one doesn't like to keep something back for the divorce when you're planning your wedding ceremony.
Perhaps I watch too much snooker. I like something rolled over the pocket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would be an interesting. Who's going to bring it up? So let's hold that back for the divorce. That would hang in the air a bit, wouldn't it?
Yes.
I'll tell you what I haven't brought up. What about me and Jim Davidson?
Bit of gossip.
Yeah, you were going to talk about. Well, we've barely got time now for it.
But I went to see Jim Davidson. No further action.
Okay.
No further action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His colon has got no further action.
Is he very ill?
Elvis, actually, in the later days. It's a terrible story. Apparently it was like cement. It's not funny. It's awful. We'll save it for next week. I don't want to rush.
Do you want to hear about the book signing? There's all sorts.
There's a book signing.
There was a book signing. He said copies are available in the lobby. There wasn't a lobby. Anyway, we'll discuss this next week.
Oh, good.
I've got a lot to say.
Yeah. Can I ask one question about it?
Yes.
Did he at any point say Nick?
No, but he did say, well, everything he said, virtually after everything he said, well, this won't go down with the old PC brigade.
Oh.
And then he
nearly went down with the PC brigade.
I think what he meant was that he was doing some observational stuff about using an Apple MacBook Pro. And he was going, this isn't going to go well with the PC brigade.
I thought he meant the police constables.
He also said, this isn't going to go down well with the old lefty anti-sexist lot.
Oh, okay. Well, he was, he knows his marking. Well, anyway, let's tease, but don't spoil. That's what
he said to me last night.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, thank you so much for listening. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8.